Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way being recorded. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names of kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. Welcome back to another edition of John Grande's Top 10 WrestleMania matches. And today, it's numero 7. And it's from WrestleMania numero 8. I know, I almost swerved y'all there, and you would think I was going to say WrestleMania 7. Close, though, of the year 1992, of course, and is the very first Intercontinental Championship match that we have in the list here, of course, as Bret the Hitman Hart challenges Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8. This is a match that really no one talks about. When you hear, like, WrestleMania matches that are for the IC belt, especially, you know, in the earlier days, everyone's going to always tell you Savage, Steamboat. And that's a great match, too. I love Savage and Steamboat. That's a great IC title match. But the one that always kind of caught my eye, and probably my favorite Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania, I'm not 100% sure if it is the actual best, but it's my personal favorite, is this one right here from WrestleMania 8, where Bret Hart faced Roddy Piper. Now, a little bit of backstory before I get into the match. Now, of course, if you actually read Bret Hart, any of his books, he goes on and on about how close he and Roddy Piper were in real life. Roddy was really close with the Hart family in real life, and the two of them were really close, to the point where when Bret had his stroke, I believe Roddy Piper was the very first person to visit him in the hospital. Like, that's how close of friends that Roddy and Bret were. So I don't know if people realize that, but they were like brothers, really, really close. And I miss the Hot Rod every day. I loved Roddy Piper. I really, really loved Roddy Piper. He just was such a great character, such a vital piece, I think, to 1980s professional wrestling. And what people, forget is that this was around the time where he was kind of coming back for a very short part-time stint, right? Of course, he leaves after WrestleMania 3 in 1987 to try his film career and makes quite a few good movies. I mean, I love John Carpenter's They Live. I love Hell Comes to Frogtown. Roddy Piper tried a lot of his, hands in movies, and then this was his return in early 1992, where, of course, Bret Hart had lost the Intercontinental Championship to the Mountie. The Mountie was a 2-day Phantom champion, of course, until Roddy Piper beats him at the Royal Rumble 1992 that year. And, of course, that was the first title that Roddy Piper ever won in WWE. First and only. He never won the world title. He never won a tag title. This was his one and only title run of any sort in WWF, which was this very short, brief couple of months Intercontinental Championship reign. And I'm happy that Vince gave Roddy that, because Roddy deserved that. Roddy should have already been an Intercontinental Champion. Roddy probably should have been WWF Champion. Like, I would have had Roddy beat Hulk for it at some point, and then you could have had Hulk chase Roddy, but they never went that route. They would always have Roddy get DQ'd or something like that. They would never have Roddy just win it outright or lose it outright. It would always be some kind of screwy finish, and I think it was kind of a shame, but it's nice to see that they gave Roddy this brief title run as sort of a tweener babyface, and who better to face than one of his best friends in real life, than Bret the Hitman Hart, who was such an up-and-comer at this time. Of course, the Hart Foundation disbands after WrestleMania 7 in 1991, after they lose to the Nasty Boys. And yes, the Nasty Boys sucked, but great match. It's a great swan song match. Of course, Bret, had won the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam, and then, of course, drops it back to the Mountie, who drops it to Roddy, and that sets up our WrestleMania match. We have a really fun backstage segment between Mean Gene Okerlund, Roddy, and Bret, as Roddy's being interviewed, and he's basically saying, "I know this guy since he was knee-high to a grasshopper," and he's saying that Bret never could learn how to tie his shoes, and how Bret never could change himself, and how Bret would only eat these really tiny, skinny sandwiches, where Mama Hart used to make them sandwiches, and it didn't matter. I was hungry. It's a great pre-match promo. It's really fun, as Roddy's just kind of making fun of him, like, your little brother. And then Bret says, "Hey, hands off me. I've come back to get this belt tonight, and if I have to take you out to, get it, I'm going to do it." And Roddy's like, "You keep your hands to yourself. Bye, tough guy. You're back for your belt." It's a really fun backstage segment before the match kicks off. The two of them enter the ring, and Roddy was never known for technical wrestling, but I thought Roddy did such a good job in this match. He really brought his A game when it comes to wrestling, right? Roddy was a showman. Roddy was a big mouth. Roddy was a promo. We don't really necessarily think of Roddy as a technician, more so a showman. But I think when, of course, in the ring with somebody like Bret the Hitman Hart, who was this technical mastermind, who was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the whole moniker. I mean, I thought the two just created magic. They had a really fun back and forth. There's a point where Bret, Roddy points to Bret's boot, and Bret's like, huh? And he's like seeing if it's untied. And Roddy sucker punches him, and he kind of goes down. Roddy's getting his heat. And in the meantime, Bret blades himself, and he's bleeding like a sieve. And it really added, I think, to get color in this match for Bret, it really added to his whole like babyface story of this young up-and-comer that has to beat this guy from yesteryear that now has the mid-card title. And I really liked the story they told. And it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of technical stuff. You see, your classic Bret Hart, Russian leg sweep, snap suplexes. Roddy jumps out like he goes for the like they grab hands and they go down. Roddy kicks and then just pokes him in the eye. Great. I mean, classic stuff. Their styles actually meshed quite well together. And it's a shame they didn't work more matches, but this one I thought was quite special. There's, of course, the point where the ref gets knocked down and Roddy goes out of the ring and he has the ring bell and he's going to ring. What the hell? Use the bell. You have Bobby the Brain Heenan on commentary yelling at Roddy to use it. Hit him. And Roddy keeps struggling to decide whether he's going to ring Bret's bell with the bell or not. And he can't bring himself to do it. Roddy has this great moment of looking out into the crowd being like, I'm a bastard, but I wouldn't even do this. So he kind of drops it, goes for a punch. He puts him in the sleeper hold. Bret has this great counter where he jumps up into the ring buckle, flies back, 1, 2, 3, and we have a new Intercontinental Champion. It was a great moment. This is to me what makes Bret Hart matches great is that they always told really good stories in the ring and out of the ring, right? Here's two guys that were really good friends in real life, but they really made you buy that they hated each other this night, this moment, this match. And I just thought that their styles meshed so well together, even though they were completely at opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to styles in ring. Great match for the Intercontinental title. The match that I always think of when I think of WrestleMania Intercontinental title match, I don't look any further than here. And the post-match segment's really nice where Roddy, he takes the belt and it looks like he might hit Bret with it and he puts it on his shoulder, gets him up, and they kind of walk out shoulder and shoulder, like arm in arm, like, I respect you. There's the whole respect moment there where, hey, kid, I'm passing you my torch. I'm going to go film some more movies now. I liked it. I thought Roddy was a total class act in this match. It was the right guy to get over. It was one of those classic cases of, am I big on part-time wrestling? No, but I really liked that Roddy came back, got his run because he deserved some kind of a run. It was a shame he didn't get it during his primary run, but it was nice to see Roddy get that, and even nicer to see Bret get his moment, and then propelled by the next year, Bret Hart goes into WrestleMania the WWF champion. So this I really like to say is a match that catapulted Bret into the main event title scene, even though obviously, he wasn't quite there yet. It wasn't until later in that same year of 92 where he beats Ric Flair and Saskatoon for the WWF title, and then, of course, goes to WrestleMania 9 with it, which WrestleMania 9 is better left forgotten. But WrestleMania 8, I think, is an underrated one and one that gets a little too much shit. But really like this match. I highly recommend, if you have not seen it already, highly recommend Bret the Hitman Hart challenging, of course, Roddy Piper for the IC title at WrestleMania number 8. Yes, and that's the number 7 pick on the list. Of course, we will do number 6. I've been watching wrestling all day. I might shoot 2 of these in a row. I don't know why. I might as well just get a couple of these because I know there was a week I missed or whatever. And before we go, one more quick thing. Io Sky won the World Women title. I'm so excited. I said it in the first video how big of a fan I am and how I hope that she can win it at WrestleMania this year. She was like, bitch, please. Wins it on Monday Night Raw like weeks before WrestleMania. So really exciting moment for her. Very happy for Io Sky. Hats off to her. My favorite wrestler on the planet. So really, really cool stuff. So long live the genius of the sky. Rest in pepperonis to Roddy Piper. And of course, long live Bret the Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will be back next time only on the Graveyard. Too sweet. Peace. Toodles.